All right, if you're deep in study mode for the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, you know that relational databases are a really big deal. So today, we're going to laser focus on two of the heaviest hitters in the entire AWS world, RDS and Aurora. We're going to break down exactly what you need to know to nail those questions.
So here's the million-dollar question, right? When you're sitting in that exam and a scenario question pops up, how do you decide between RDS and Aurora? I mean, they're both managed relational databases, but trust me, they are built for completely different jobs. By the time we're done here, you're going to know exactly which one to pick every single time.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll set the stage on what a managed database even is. Then, we'll introduce our two contenders, RDS, who I like to call the versatile veteran, and Aurora, the cloud-native sprinter. After that, we'll throw them into a head-to-head battle on architecture and performance, check out the costs, and then wrap it all up with a decision guide that is honestly pure gold for your exam prep. So first things first, what problem are both of these services even trying to solve? Well, it's all about taking the headache out of running a relational database. You know, instead of you having to worry about buying servers, patching software, or running backups, AWS just handles it all. That's what managed service really means, and it's a super important concept for the exam.
Now, this right here, this clears up something that trips a lot of people up. Amazon RDS is the big umbrella service, and Amazon Aurora, well, it's actually a super specialized high-performance database engine that you choose from within the RDS family. So you manage them both from the same console, but believe me, what's happening under the hood is a world of difference.
Let's kick things off with RDS. I want you to think of RDS as the dependable, battle-tested veteran. It's been around for ages, since 2009, and it's designed to make it crazy easy to just lift and shift your traditional databases into the cloud with almost no changes. Its biggest strength? Flexibility. And yeah, this says it all, doesn't it? RDS is like a Swiss Army knife. It works with a whole bunch of database engines that your company probably already knows and uses. This compatibility is its absolute killer feature. Okay, for your exam, you have to remember this slide. RDS supports all of these engines, but pay very close attention to Oracle and Microsoft SQL Server. If you see a question that talks about migrating some old enterprise app that runs on Oracle or SQL Server, RDS is almost always the answer, because Aurora flat out doesn't support them. That's a key distinction. And now, let's meet Aurora. This is the sleek, high-octane sprinter of the database world. See, Aurora isn't just a database that happens to run in the cloud. AWS re-engineered it from the ground up for the cloud. Its entire reason for existing is to deliver mind-blowing performance and scale that traditional databases can only dream of. So let's put some numbers on that. How fast are we talking? For any app that's built on MySQL, Aurora can deliver up to 5 times the throughput of a standard MySQL database running on the exact same hardware. And let me be clear, that's not a 5% improvement, that's a 500% improvement. It's a massive difference. And you know, it's a very similar story over in the PostgreSQL world. Aurora's PostgreSQL compatible version can hit up to 3 times the throughput of the standard version. Again, we're not talking about a little tune-up. This is a fundamental leap in performance that lets your apps handle way, way more traffic. So how in the world does it do this? Well, this is the secret sauce. Unlike a traditional database where the computer and the storage are stuck together, Aurora splits them apart. It uses this custom distributed storage layer that is wicked fast and can even heal itself. This single architectural change is the key to pretty much all of Aurora's advantages, and you will absolutely see questions related to this concept. All right, time for the main event. We're putting RDS and Aurora head-to-head on the 3 things that matter most for any serious application: architecture, performance, and availability. So pay close attention here, because this is where the exam questions live. This table really breaks it all down perfectly. With RDS, storage is stuck to the server. For high availability, you create a whole second standby server. But with Aurora, the storage is this shared distributed thing. Your data is automatically copied 6 times across 3 different data centers. This makes failover way faster. We're talking under 30 seconds for Aurora versus a minute or 2 for RDS. And for read-heavy apps, Aurora can scale out with up to 15 read replicas versus only 5 for RDS. And here's another game changer. With RDS, you have to guess how much storage you'll need and provision it upfront. With Aurora, you don't. The storage volume just grows automatically as you add more data, all the way up to 128 terabytes, and with zero downtime. For any app that's going fast, this is a huge, huge operational win. And just in case it hasn't sunk in yet, look at this chart. We're not talking about a 10 or 20% bump here. We're talking about a 5-fold increase in performance for MySQL workloads. So when an exam question starts using words like high throughput or low latency, your brain should just immediately scream Aurora. Now, I know what you're thinking. All that performance must cost a fortune, right? Well, it's not quite that simple. The choice isn't really about which service has a lower sticker price. It's about which one is more cost-effective for the job you actually need to do. Let's break it down. RDS pricing is super straightforward. You pay for your server and the storage you set aside. Doesn't matter if you use it all or not. Aurora is more dynamic. You pay for the server, the storage you actually use, and, this is the key, the number of read and write operations your database does. So it can be more efficient, but it can also be a little trickier to predict your monthly bill.
So here's the bottom line, the rule of thumb you need to remember. For a small app, or maybe a dev environment with pretty steady traffic, RDS is almost always going to be cheaper. But for a big, high-traffic application, Aurora often becomes more cost-effective because one Aurora instance can do the work of several RDS instances, and that saves you a ton of money on compute costs.
Okay, let's bring it all home now. We're going to pull all this information together into a super clear decision guide. I want you to think of these next few slides as your ultimate cheat sheet for any RDS versus Aurora question you'll see on the Cloud Practitioner exam. So you're going to go with RDS when compatibility is king. You absolutely need Oracle or SQL Server. Or maybe you're migrating an old app and you really don't want to change any code. Or you just have a simple, predictable workload and keeping costs low and predictable is your #1 priority. And you're going to choose Aurora when performance and scale are totally non-negotiable. Your app needs to handle just insane amounts of traffic with super low latency. It needs to scale its storage without you even thinking about it. And it needs to survive a failure with almost no downtime. So think big. E-commerce sites, big SaaS platforms, and online gaming. Let's just look at this final guide. Needs simple and cheap? RDS. Need raw cloud-native horsepower? Aurora. Needs SQL Server? Has to be RDS. But what if the question asks about a database that spans the entire globe for low-latency reads? That's an advanced feature called Aurora Global Database. Or a database that automatically scales the compute up and down for really spiky workloads? That's Aurora Serverless. These are huge advantages that only Aurora has. So let's end with this, a classic exam-style scenario. You've got a new SaaS platform. The keywords: global audience, massive growth potential, and near-zero downtime. Based on everything we just covered, the crazy performance, the auto-scaling storage, the super fast failover, and those global features, the choice should be crystal clear. That's how you walk in and ace that exam.